Okay, so it is no secret that a lot of people are trying to be a health coach. It's definitely an up and coming profession, and sometimes it might feel a little bit saturated and like you are a tiny fish in a massive sea of fish. So what this means is you cannot be boring, you cannot be bland, and you cannot just half-ass your business and expect it to be successful. The truth is, if you want a thriving and sustainable business online, you actually need to stand out. So I am Kendra Perry from KendraPerry.net. I am an online business strategist for coaches. And in this video, I'm gonna give you my best tips to stand out online in a seemingly saturated market. Okay, I'm glad you tuned in, but I got one small favor before we get started. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit that little bell so that you get notified every Thursday when I post a new video. I post all kinds of videos just like this one to help you blow up your online business as an online coach. Okay, so step number one for standing out. Now, if you guys follow me, you might already know what I'm gonna say. You've gotta get specific with who you talk to. You need a clear and defined niche. If you're out there being like, I help you optimize wellness, I'm here to help you with your health, let's take your health to the next level, it's not gonna work. I'm sorry. I know you wanna help everyone. That's why you become a health coach or a personal development coach or a life coach, because you wanna serve people, because you wanna help people, and you just wanna help everyone. And that's really noble, and I get that. But there are billions of people online, and if you are generic, bland, boring, all these things, if you are not being hyper clear with who you help, then what you're talking about, it's just not really gonna connect with most people, okay? Maybe you're thinking, well, Kendra, like I know this health coach and she's generic, she's non-specific. What I will tell you is that is the exception, it is not the rule. Sure, the odd person can do it, especially if they started their business before niching was so important. So if they started their business 10 years ago, they could get away with that because there wasn't as many people online. It's different today, right? Yes, there are some people who will be able to move forward without a niche, but typically it's gonna take them so much longer and they may never get there at all. So sure, you might be the exception, but if you're the rule, you're really gonna struggle with this. So you got to be hyper specific with who you help. Okay, so you need to niche. I've made a ton of videos on this. I will link to all my niche videos below this video. I will also link to my 2-hour Define Your Profitable Niche workshop, the last niche training you will ever need, I promise. I give you everything you need to choose a niche that feels good for you and also is money making. So below this video in the description. The next thing that you need to stand out online is to actually care about your audience. You gotta give a fuck, okay? One of the biggest hacks I can give you for social media and being successful online is relationships, is building relationships. So I have heard this over and over and over again by all the top marketing experts out there. In 2020 and beyond, you need to go deep and not wide. Okay, what that means is you need to focus on the quality of relationships and not be focused on vanity metrics or just getting large numbers of following and quantity of followers, okay? So really, really important. So it's really important that you get to know the people you're following. The truth is, as an online coach, you actually don't need that many people following you to be successful, okay? I know coaches who have 6-figure businesses and they have less than 1,000 followers on Instagram. So just something to keep in mind. So relationships are really important, and the best place to create relationships is something called dark social. Now I know that sounds creepy. You're like, ooh, what is dark social? Like that sounds scary. Like, is someone gonna jump out at me? No, that's not dark social. Dark social is basically social media that cannot be tracked. Okay, so something that you can't necessarily get analytics on. So that's gonna be Instagram DM. It's gonna be Facebook private message. It's gonna be Facebook groups. It's gonna be LinkedIn message, right? These types of dark social are the perfect place for building relationships, right? So you are a user of Instagram like me. One of your large focuses should be starting as many conversations as possible in the DMs. That does not mean that you spam people, and that does not mean that the first message you send people is like, hey, I'm a health coach, buy my shit. Don't do that. Like, you know the feeling you get when you follow something and instead of trying to get to know you, they try to sell you something. right? Me following you doesn't mean I'm ready to buy. It just means I'm interested in getting to know you, right? So try to start as many conversations in the direct message as possible. Send all new followers a message, make a comment on something in their feed, ask them how they are. Just try to start a conversation with no ulterior motives. This works really well. Facebook groups are another great way to create relationships. You really want to focus on some sort of social media platform that allows you to engage. That's going to be Instagram, it's going to be LinkedIn, it's going to be Facebook groups. So is building relationships something you've considered in your business? If it is, type yes. If not, you can type it is now, because this is really important. If you can't build relationships or connection with your followers, you're not going to stand out and no one's going to want to buy from you, unfortunately. The third way to stand out online is to be yourself, right? There is no other you. Each and every one of us are 100% unique. We are all different. And that is why I don't believe in competition, because there's only one me, and you're either going to connect with me or you're not. And if you don't, totally cool. I'm not offended. You're going to go connect with someone else and get this information from someone who you do connect with. So it's really important that you translate your own unique personality, your eccentricities. I don't know if that's a word. I think it is. Your unique sense of humor. You want to translate that into your online presence. It's really important. Now, when I first started out, I got really caught up in like, oh, I have to be professional. You know, I have to show up and be really smart and really professional and impress people. And, you know, I didn't really feel very good because, like, truth be told, I'm not really a professional person. I'm kind of ridiculous. I'm kind of obnoxious. I'm kind of loud. I make a lot of weird jokes. I swear a lot. I'm not really that like kind of textbook professional health coach. I was a health coach when I got started. So that didn't work for me, and it's not going to work for anyone. If people wanted to read a textbook or listen to a textbook, they're going to go read Wikipedia. They're going to go buy a fucking textbook, right? They will learn from you because of your unique flavor and your unique personality and your voice, okay? If this is confusing with you, sit down with a couple friends and ask them to describe you in a few words. Ask them what their favorite parts about your personality are. This will help you understand who you are and who you should be showing up as online. Number 4 is to focus on generosity, giving, and service, okay? To be successful online, you got to give a lot. There's a lot of free content out there, and so you need to be generous. I don't know what I'm talking about. You need to be generous. Be generous. You need to be generous with the information that you give your following, and you really want to come from a place of serving and really wanting their success. So I really want your success. That's why I make a YouTube video every week to help you build your business, because all I want to see is you build a successful business that you are proud of, right? So I am very generous with the information I give, and I'm very generous with the content that I am putting out there. So you really want to be showing up and providing value and giving away value material. You don't want to over promote yourself. You don't want to just be like, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my stuff. Like, people are so over that, right? They will buy your stuff if you prove to them that you are worth buying from. So being generous, coming from a place of servitude, and being giving with the content that you give away online is really, really important. Now, the 5th one is a really juicy one. Okay, so you're gonna like this one, and this one might blow your mind a little bit. Don't only focus on how-to content, okay? So you've probably been told by a business mentor, by some other business guru online, that you wanna show people how to do things, how-to content. Educational content. Yes, this is really important, and this is definitely the bulk of the content that I share, but it is not all that I share. You want to focus on other types of content as well. The other types of content are breaking down limiting beliefs, connection content, and behind the scenes, okay? I'm going to break down what each of these are. So let's start with connection content. So connection content is sharing content with the sole purpose of connecting with your audience. So I recently released a podcast episode where I talked about how I built a business with a chronic health issue. The reason I made that podcast is because I know my audience can relate to that. My audience are typically health and wellness coaches. They typically became a health coach because they had their own health struggle, and there's a good chance they are still having that health struggle, and so they're building their business while also struggling with their health. So the only purpose of that piece of content was to actually drive connection and relatability with my audience. So I'm actually going to link to that podcast episode below this video if you want to take a listen. But the whole purpose of that episode was connection. Now, behind the scenes is showing your audience what you are doing behind the scenes, right? It might seem really boring. You're like, I don't think people are that interested in your life. And the truth is, it is not the bulk of content that you should be sharing. You don't want to always just be sharing behind the scenes because that would mean you're an influencer and not a business owner. But you do want to give people a little look into what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. My audience really loves the behind the scenes stuff that I share. A really good place to share behind the scenes. You can share it across any platform, but I love doing this on Instagram stories. Really good place for sharing behind the scenes. And that's just so that people get to know you better. It's also helps with connection and just help to see like who you are and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Now, the third type of content you should be sharing, this is juicy, is breaking down limiting beliefs, okay? So when you break down limiting beliefs, this is when you shift from just being kind of an average coach to someone who is a thought leader because you are disrupting people's perceptions and beliefs. Powerful, right? So how you share this type of content is you want to sit down and journal what are limiting beliefs that your audience has. So for example, a limiting belief that my audience has is people can't afford the cost of working with me. And I make a lot of videos on why that's not true and why people will actually pay for things they see valuable. So if you are getting that objection, people can't afford, they say they can't afford it, money is always an objection. It's actually reflecting on you and your ability to truly show the value of what you're offering, okay? So you breaking down limiting beliefs is powerful because it makes people go, huh? And it actually gets them out of that place, that limiting, is that a word? That limitation place, I don't know, that place of limitation. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Hopefully you're still following me, but basically limiting beliefs prevent people from moving forward in their health and, towards the goals that they have. And if you can help them rethink those limiting beliefs, if you can help them shift those limiting beliefs, then that's going to be huge. And they're also going to be way more likely to want to work with you. Okay, so if you want all of my tips to starting a successful online business, grab my free insiders guides where I literally tell you everything you need to know to be successful online, and I will link to that below this video. And if you like this video, please let me know by liking it, sharing it, and subscribing to my channel. And if you really think this video is awesome, type awesome in the comments and let me know. You are amazing, you are intelligent, you are cool as fuck. Now get out there, be yourself, and stand out.